Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Lord Davy, and welcome back to Rewriting Star Wars. Now we're on episode 4, the second half of it. So when we last went... If I could talk. When we last left off, we found out that Princess Leia is secretly Queen Amidala under a new disguise. She was currently captured by the Emperor and his freedom fighters, and we sent out for Anakin Skywalker's younger brother, half-brother, to help for their cause, and now they're on their way back to rescue them. So they got pulled into the Death Star's tractor beam. They weren't expecting that, so then they're hiding inside. Completely, absolutely decked out two stormtroopers, but they're more than likely dead, if I'm being honest. Anakin's like, that's a little suspicious, but I can't put my finger on it, so I'll leave it at that. So now we're on a mission to get the tractor beam down and the princess rescued. And then, as everybody remembers, we recently got an upgrade from the Queen. The Queen used her witch magic to pretty much just trick any weak-minded individual, instead of pulling out a weapon, to pull out their lunch, which is carrots, because they're nice and healthy. Except for, obviously, the stronger-willed people like the officers and whatnot, but these chips, they just make these soldiers pathetic. Now, the main guy in charge of the Death Star, his name's Admiral Tarkin, and coincidentally enough, he's pretty much like a stepfather to Anakin Skywalker. See, when Anakin finally turned to the good side of the freedom fighters, Palpatine kind of took him in under his wing, and a couple years later, he finally married Tarkin, so they're a beautiful family. See, the reason why Palpatine isn't on the ship, he's actually on a relief mission, going to other systems that have been, well, just wiped out or duped by the Queen's doing. So he's going to several planets, have a campaign, like a relief campaign, to hopefully just do some good, mostly. So he left his reliable husband in charge and his great adopted son. And with that, the tractor beam's down. So now Obi-Wan, he's going to be heading back to the ship and maybe take on Anakin as a distraction. Oh, these guys just crack me up. They think, they're like, why isn't our weapons working? I've got to point right at them, but little do they know, they're being mind altered, so they don't even know what they don't know. Alright, security's taken out, so we can just pretty much just walk on in. Now you can hear the Queen's wailing and bitching a mile away, so I know exactly which one she's in. Yep. There she is in her evilness. So we're gonna break her out. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? You left all these men alive? They're like, well, I don't know, I thought they'd be fine. She's like, no, I've got a plan. Just follow me, you guys are worthless. And now, they officially have their most dangerous criminal on the loose. The Queen is not, well, the princess, she's a vain bitch and wants to think of herself younger. She just can't be trifled with. So now we're taking the trash can, or the trash chute down. Luke's having a grand old time. He's like, oh my god, if I knew being on the Queen side was this much fun, I'd do it years ago. And Han, he's been a driver slash flyer for the Queen for a couple months now, so he's just kind of sick of her shit. They're about to be crushed, but unfortunately, R2 had to go and save the day and ruin everything. Could have taken out 4 of the greatest threats to the freedom fighters, but that lucky astromech was just in the right place at the right time. The Queen also told us to completely disregard our stormtrooper outfits because it was an insult to her name. Excuse us, idiots. I mean, with this kind of power, it's easy to see why the freedom fighters are struggling so hard against this maniac. Not even bothering with these a-holes. So right now, the Queen's just kind of getting a feel for this Luke Skywalker. She had She was quite smitten with her older brother, so she's gonna see if this one's worth all the trouble we had to go to get him. And so far, I mean, he's done a pretty exceptional job under Obi-Wan's eye, but we'll see what the Queen has to say. Takes a lot more to impress her. There's an officer. And there goes the officer. So even though C-3PO and R2-D2 could be a tremendous help, they just did not want to have to deal with the Queen. So they would just say, hey, we'll meet you at the ship. You guys got this. It's a shame the officers are always in a gray uniform with a very distinguished hat, so that way it makes it just so much easier for me to pick out who needs to die. I mean, these guys can die, but it's just not worth the effort. Right now, we're just trying to get the Queen out of here. She's pissy. She just had one of her planets of very valuable resources destroyed. She just wants a nice little bath. Luke's over here, just giddy as a schoolgirl, like, you're telling me it's this easy? Yes, it is. It's even easier than taking candy from a baby, because at least the baby can kind of fight back, but these guys are under the illusion that they are fighting back, but they're just waving a carrot around like a little idiot. And now, there's the Falcon right now, a ride out of here. There's Obi-Wan, distracting Vader. Hopefully the Queen doesn't see, otherwise who knows what she'll do. She's... even though Anakin switched to the Freedom Fighter, she still has feelings for him. Mostly possessive feelings, but still feelings. But believe me, there was no love involved. She just likes to have what's hers. And even what's not hers. Get some Chewie up in here. Loyal subject of the Queen. Once the Queen took over the Wookiees, pretty much any Wookiee was allied to her, and the Wookiees can be very loyal, but, I mean, loyalty has nothing to do with it. Whenever anything has to do with the Queen, it's fear. So we're gonna knock this security out real quick, and then get the fuck out of here. Everybody's absolutely flabbergasted. There's like 30 of us and 4 of them. Oh gosh. Some are just getting knocked into the fucking bed. Jesus. Boop. Boop. Donk. And now we'll just kill everybody and make our way onto the ship. There we are. Killed just enough. The Queen didn't want to leave until she got at least a big bucket of revenge, so that's why we didn't open the doors till then. There's Obi-Wan just taunting. Anakin's like, hey, remember the time you cut off my legs? Try it on me. And he did, and he just kind of fucking disappeared. Anakin's like, what the shit was that? Well, Obi-Wan didn't actually die. It was a very dark form of magic that the Queen has. The ability to encapsulate a soul from going anywhere else. So now he's essentially a ghost. He can't do anything, but his presence is still known. So now we're back to the base of Dictator Leia's organization. Remember that CD she burned into R2? I was just gonna play that. Should be a nice little AC/DC thing. Look how disorganized they are, crashing into each other, idiots. So right now he's playing the music that the Queen gave him, and they're going over plans of the Death Star. And they're like, hey, when we did a scan of that, we found out there's like this gigantic tunnel. If you put a missile directly at the right spot, it blows up. And unfortunately, it was an oversight on the Freedom Fighter side, because what they were going to do, they were going to fill that up, but unfortunately time was of the essence, and they really needed to destroy Alderaan before just an absolute barrage of weapons and ammunition and all sorts of bad things were going to be spread upon Princess Leia's army. So they had to take the risk of getting it exposed, even though it wasn't fully ready, but by doing that they saved God only knows how many systems and planets and whatnot. Oh, they can launch their fighters and blast their guns, but in the end it won't matter. So even though Luke's never been in a any kind of vehicle like this before. Just like his older brother, he's an absolute natural. He'll do wonders for the Guild of Assassins, what few there are left. The Skywalker's is basically as strong as you can get right there. Queen saw what he's capable of, and just like, hey, well, she didn't see it. She basically said, hey, I want to test you out, so I'm going to put you up against basically the entire might of the Freedom Fighters. And Luke's just like, okay. Luke's a eager little Gus. As you can see, nothing really is much of a challenge. Luke is truly Anakin's younger brother. That much is definitely certain. And the Queen is absolutely making note of this. Who knows, might even be her new consort of such. Although she does have her eye on the driver. He tends to have his moments, this Han Solo. Don't really know much about him, but he hasn't failed the mission yet. So we're finally on the last little stretch, and Anakin's just like, alright guys, this is getting absolutely ridiculous. I gotta get out there. My stepdad, he's very worried and he didn't want me, but I had to stand up and try and take care of this. So he gets some guys to tag along with him. He's like, I'm gonna need backup, because he's definitely a very cunning warrior we have going with him. So we're on the last little stretch. But looks like they got me cornered. Before I can really fire a truly good shot, Han Solo just comes out of nowhere. Apparently he was looking out for Luke the entire time like a guardian angel. Secretly Leia assigned Han, hey, why don't you keep your eye out on the Skywalker guy from a distance? Everybody knows why. The Queen is already showing favoritism toward him. Alright, now let's get out of here. Unfortunately with them, Luke's shot was straight and true, and he killed millions upon millions of people who were just trying to do some good in this galaxy. Sadly, oh, and there's a little bit of abuse right there on Chewie's part, Jesus. Thankfully though, Vader, he did get away. He's out of breath, he felt a disturbance of the Force, he did lose his father in that explosion, now he's gonna run off to his other father and try and see what can be done about this. Such evil will not be tolerated. So, we're getting to a little award ceremony, which is really weird. The Queen hardly ever has anything of this sort. But, she figures a little boost for the morale would do some good. They finally have a strong opponent on their side, a Skywalker. Now the loss of Kenobi will be missed, but the Queen knows his essence is still around, so he can be used for military tactics and whatnot. And then you can see Chewie didn't get a medal because the Queen's racist. But that'll do it for this playthrough. These things are so silly, I love it. But yeah, this was Rewriting Star Wars Episode 4. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And yeah, that's gonna do it. So, bye.